Hello, I'm Peter Coyote. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight. And thank you for helping First Freedom First make history. We've gathered fearless and talented Americans together for this first ever simulcast to take an unprecedented stand for separation of church and state. Our program is being broadcast right now to 37 cities across the country, from New York to Los Angeles, from Lansing to Little Rock, with the goal of making church-state separation an integral part of our national conversation. We're not here to favor one religion over another or to elevate believers over non-believers, nor are we here to launch an attack on what many call the religious right. Although, if we are to be truly honest, we must include their attitudes and behavior in our discussion tonight. Having said all that, I want to make the purpose of this historic event unmistakably clear: to extend an invitation to all Americans, atheists and believers alike, to join us in gaining a deeper appreciation for the history, the meaning, and the purpose of our sacred, protected right to worship or not. Before we get started, let's go to our First Freedom First correspondent, Steve Altman.
The First Amendment. What does it mean? For some, it means freedom of speech. For others, separation of church and state and other essential freedoms. But how does the average American respond to these freedoms? We sent our senior freedom correspondent, Steve Altman, to Hollywood, California to find out. Okay, thanks, me. We're here in Hollywood. We're going to be talking to people about the Constitution, the First Amendment, what they might know about it. What is the First Amendment?
Freedom of speech, right? Peaceful assembly.
I read the newspaper today.
Oh, the freedom of speech, the freedom of reading.
And the freedom of reading.
Freedom of press.
Being unplugged from the matrix.
Freedom of religion?
How do you like this country?
Love it.
And what do you like about it?
It's free.
Do you believe in God?
Yeah, I do believe in God.
So you can believe in God and still believe in separation of church and state, which is how the country was set up, kind of.
Yeah.
Some people think that this is a Christian nation. Do you think it's a Christian nation?
No, because you still got we got different religions, all different types of religion.
What do you love about this country?
California.
I think that's in the Fourth Amendment.
And this kid can be whatever religion it wants.
Right.
It doesn't have to be religious either. If she doesn't believe in anything, I don't care either. It's a girl.
Talk about freedom of the press, freedom of speech. You guys want to say something about that? First Amendment right? It's a myth. He's a police officer.
Congress shall make no law
Respecting an establishment of religion.
Prohibiting the free exercises thereof.
Or abridging the freedom of speech.
Can't abridge no freedom of speech, man.
Or of the press.
Of the press.
Or the right of the people.
Of the people.
Of the people.
To peaceably assemble.
And to petition.
Petition the government.
The government.
Or a redress.
of
grievances.
This means if you don't like it, write it down on a piece of paper, send it to your senator, and tell him you don't like it, and something will change. First Amendment rights, baby. Practice it.
Truth, justice, and the American way.
Thank you, Steve. Tonight, we're honored to have two men who are among the foremost American authorities on the subject of religious freedom. From Americans United for Separation of Church and State, I'm pleased to introduce the Reverend Barry Lynn. And from the Interfaith Alliance Foundation, Dr. Welton Gaddy. Not coincidentally, these two men happen to be the co-founders of our host organization, firstfreedomfirst.org. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Barry, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about Americans United.
All right. Well, personally, I'm the executive director of Americans United. I'm also an attorney as well as a minister. Of course, this gives me the capacity to forgive people tonight, but still go on to sue them tomorrow morning. Americans United was founded back in 1947 by some major religious figures and journalists at a time when the Supreme Court was just starting to get into the question of what was the legitimate line to be drawn between government and religion.
Welton, your organization is called the Interfaith Alliance, and how does it differ from Barry's?
Well, we were founded in 1994 also by a group of diverse religious leaders concerned at that time, that was in the middle of contract with America and all of those emphases of the religious right, combating those who claimed to speak singularly for religion, though they didn't represent many of us and our religious convictions.
Barry, the audience can see these circles behind us and over to the left. You want to explain what they're about?
Sometimes the separation of church and state can get to be a pretty abstract concept. And we wanted to point out with these circles that there is an enormous practical intervention that the religious right wants to make on some of the most intimate decisions of our life. We want people to understand that fundamental questions like your reproductive life, what kind of family you're going to be able to have and get benefits for having it, what kind of decisions you can make at the end of life, that these personal decisions are to be made by you in consultation with the people that you trust, not to be made by some television preacher, not to be made by the biggest mega church in your community.
Why and how did you and Welton get together and form First Freedom First Foundation?
We wanted to make sure that people understood that these two organizations had a dedication to a singular goal, expressed in a sense by that final circle up here, democracy, not theocracy.